Mercedes just signed a new driver for 2023, so we're going to be going through that and 4 other stories in today's video, so make sure to like this video, and if you want more Mercedes F1 content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. But let's get straight into the first story, because Mick Schumacher claims his place in Mercedes and says we will be able to fight for the World Championships. The news of Mick Schumacher joining Mercedes team for the 2023 Formula 1 season has generated a lot of buzz among fans and industry professionals. As the son of the legendary Michael Schumacher, there is no doubt that Mick has big shoes to fill. However, he has proven himself to be a talented driver in his own right, having completed in the F1 for 2 seasons with Haas before being dropped from the team late in the season. This left him with limited options for the 2023 season, making his invitation to join Mercedes as a reserve driver for George Russell and Lewis Hamilton a fortunate opportunity. In his first interview with the team, Schumacher expressed his excitement at joining such a successful and respected organization. "I saw the development of the W13 has been through this year and the steps it had taken over the course of the year from a difficult start to a race-winning car," he said. "So definitely excited about next year to see what is possible. Hopefully I will be able to contribute a good amount to it, and we will be able to fight for the World Championships at the end of the year." One aspect that sets Schumacher apart from many of his peers is his full understanding of the current technology and development of the 2023 cars. He has a full season of experience with these new regulations, which gives him a solid foundation to build upon as he works with the team to optimize the performance of the upcoming W14. It's clear that Schumacher is eager to prove himself and make a mark in the F1 world, and with his involvement with Mercedes, a team with a reputation for pushing the boundaries of innovation, it's likely that he will have many opportunities to do so. "I guess it is not as common to have a reserve driver that has been driving the same era of cars," he says. "I know the tires, I know what the car is about, what it needs in terms of driving style, so hopefully I'll be able to contribute to that, but also maybe see what the drivers need from the outside. The simulator work is going to be very important. We have a lot to do, so hopefully I will contribute the knowledge and also that I have, but also gain knowledge for myself that hopefully I can use for the rest of my career." Given his talent, determination, and the support of a top-tier team like Mercedes, it's likely that we will see him make a strong impact in the 2023 season and beyond. Whether he takes on a drive with Mercedes or another team, Schumacher has the potential to make his mark just like his father did. And I think this is honestly fantastic to see Toto Wolff give this opportunity to someone like Mick in order to stay with the F1 family and continue to drive, even though he doesn't have a complete permanent seat next season. Now, getting into the second story, Russell actually had this to say, saying not going to walk away from this season with huge amounts of pride. George Russell eagerly made the switch to Mercedes this calendar year, but he managed to do little with his new team in 2022. After a difficult first half of the season, the German formation fought back somewhat. However, according to Russell, that was insufficient to be satisfied, he told BBC. While Mercedes were busy fixing porpoising in the first months of this last season, Russell put in an excellent period in the first 9 race weekends. He finished no longer than 5th position, bringing the important points for Mercedes. His teammate Lewis Hamilton got off to a lesser start and finished below Russell in the World Championship at the end of the race year. Although the talented Briton is proud that he was able to do so in his first year, he believes Mercedes and he should also demand more. Indeed, Russell hopes to compete for the world title next season, and for that, however, a lot has to happen. As Red Bull's car still has a substantial lead over the competition, "I'm not going to walk away from this season with huge amounts of pride because I finished 4th in the championship. We still need to keep raising the bar," Russell told British media. I think this was honestly fantastic to hear from George Russell. I think George Russell has great consistency in the way he drives, and that's something that you will definitely have to take into account when it comes to next season. His consistency out there on the tracks, especially in certain Grand Prix, have paid huge dividends for him to be finishing 4th, and also will continue to help him push further as the season goes on for next year. Wolff suggests that he applied maybe too much pressure at Mercedes. 2022 proved to be a challenging year for Mercedes due to issues with the W13 car, but team boss Toto Wolff feels that he learned some key lessons about the organization through their struggles. Now, moving on from this, Toto Wolff has suggested that he applied maybe too much pressure at times during the 2022 struggles. The team faced a challenging season due to issues with the W13, meaning that they were unable to match the pace of rivals Red Bull and Ferrari. There were signs of improvement as the campaign campaign progressed, and George Russell clinched the Silver Arrow's sole victory of the year at the penultimate race in Brazil, while Lewis Hamilton was left without a win. Despite the difficulties, Wolff feels that he learned a lot throughout it all. Wolff reacts on pressure from Mercedes and said, "I absolutely believe that you have to fail and get it wrong to prosper," Wolff said. "There was no sports team in the world that won every single championship they entered. So the learnings have been tough because talking about it is one thing, but then seeing the phenomenon come back weekend after weekend, it really tests the organization and also the values of this organization as well." Now, so the learnings have been tough, but I think we've had moments when I look back and there was a certain degree of pressure, maybe too much, that I put on the organization at times. But it made me learn about my strengths and weaknesses of the organization. At the end, it comes back to the sentence, "The days we lose are the days our competitors will regret," because we learned the most, and hopefully the future will be proof of that. I absolutely love the actual, positivity that Toto Wolff sees with all this, and I think it is going to pay dividends in the long run. When asked at which point he applied the most pressure on the team, Wolff explained that it came at the stage when they were struggling to understand the root cause of their issues, particularly given their changing fortunes at different race weekends. "I think when it sank in that we didn't really understand how to fix some of the car issues," he continued. "It wasn't that it was porpoising or whether it was a suspension problem. It was basically every stone you turned around had a problem. Then we went to Barcelona and we had a solid race weekend, and it looked like we were slowly getting on top of things, and then things were getting dire again." So obviously last season was a bit of a struggle when it comes to them getting a consistent win or continuing to improve as time goes on. But that just happens in the race game and the sport game in general. But I love how they are continuing to learn from it, because they are only going to come back stronger next season. Now, George Russell says Mercedes haven't forgotten how to build a fast car, as he expects 2023 from F1 team. So this is the fourth story in today's video, and George Russell said this. And when it comes to that, Red Bull picked up Formula One Constructors Championship, while Max Verstappen became a two-time world champ. Russell did, however, pick up Merck's one and only win of the season in Brazil. And ahead of the 2023 campaign, the Brit says this team still know what they're doing in F1. Russell is also confident that the team will be competitive for their first race of the season. He told BBC Radio Norfolk, "They haven't forgotten how to build a fast car. We just got it wrong this year." Russell continued, "We got the philosophy wrong. We went down a route which turned out to be the wrong route. Sometimes it takes a long time to dig yourself out of that hole, and this is definitely the case with what was going on. Now I feel we've dug ourselves out of that hole and we're building on top of that. We are a step behind Red Bull and Ferrari, and we've got a lot of catching up to do, but we're definitely going to be in a much stronger position from race to race every single year." Russell managed to beat the 7-time F1 world champion Lewis Hamilton in the standings last season, and in his debut campaign for Merck, Russell claimed 275 points to Hamilton's 240. Now, you do have to take into account that Hamilton's car was definitely getting more experimental with, but I still think Russell definitely held his own, especially in a couple of races where Hamilton was struggling. He said, "I'm not going to walk away from this season with a huge amount of pride, because I finished 4th in the championship," which we mentioned earlier, and that's why I think George Russell will continue to be a great driver for Mercedes as time goes on. He's done a fantastic job, and I think with everything that is going on, he's going to continue to be a great driver and will continue to help Mercedes win more championships.